Deep beneath a cracked sidewalk, in the bustling tunnels of Antville, lived an unusually curious ant named Arlo. While the rest of the colony focused on gathering food, digging new tunnels, and tending to the queen, Arlo would lie on a rock at night and gaze up at the stars. Where do those twinkling lights come from, he'd wonder. What's beyond the sky? Most ants laughed at him. Ants belong in the dirt, Arlo. Not in the sky, they'd say, shaking their heads. But Arlo didn't care. He dreamed of being the first ant to go to space. Every day after work, he'd sneak away to the edge of the garden where the humans threw their trash. There, he collected bottle caps, rubber bands, wires, foil, and even a broken toy car. Bit by bit, he dragged them underground and started building something strange in a hidden cavern, a rocket ship. It took weeks of work, secret experiments, and more than one explosion that singed his antennae. But finally, his creation stood tall. Well, tall for an ant. It was a shiny capsule made from a soda can, powered by a twisted rubber band engine and controlled with a circuit board from a broken remote. It wasn't perfect, but to Arlo, it was beautiful. "I'll call her the Starlifter," he whispered, gently patting its side. Arlo knew that launch day had to be perfect. He waited for the full moon, the brightest night, when the queen and the workers would all be asleep. Carefully, he pulled the Starlifter through a tunnel he had secretly dug that led all the way to the surface, a flat patch of soil under the open sky. "Here goes everything," he said, strapping himself inside with a twist-tie belt. He wound up the rubber band engine with all his strength, then flipped the switch. Boing! Whoosh! The rocket shot into the air like a spinning top, soaring higher and higher, past the garden fence, over the old oak tree, and, just for a second, right into the sky. Inside the capsule, Arlo clutched the controls. He was bouncing, rattling, and nearly upside down, but his heart soared with excitement. He felt weightless. He wasn't just flying, he was astronauting. But gravity had other plans. Moments later, the rubber band unwound completely, and the rocket began to fall. It tumbled through the air, spiraling down, down, down. Crash! Arlo landed with a thud. He blinked, unbuckled himself, and crawled out of the hatch. He looked around. The ground was silver, dusty, and covered in glittering white powder. The sky above was dark, and a giant glowing bulb shined overhead. Arlo's jaw dropped. "I did it," he gasped. "I'm on the moon." But was he? He walked a few steps and bumped into something hard. It was a giant metal pole sticking out of the ground. Above it, a lampshade loomed like a pale sun. Then he heard a voice. "Well, well, what do we have here?" Arlo turned to see a chubby moth with a friendly smile fluttering down from the light bulb. "You're not from around here," the moth said. "I'm Arlo," the ant said proudly. "And I'm an astronaut. I just landed on the moon." The moth laughed. "This isn't the moon, little buddy. You landed on a patio table under a garden lamp." Arlo's antennae drooped. "Oh," he said, suddenly embarrassed. "But," the moth added, "you flew. You really flew. That's amazing. No ant's ever done that before." Arlo's chest puffed out just a bit. "Well, I guess that's true." Over the next hour, the moth, whose name was Luna, gave Arlo a tour of the moon, which turned out to be the Johnson family's backyard patio. There were craters, planter pots, strange alien relics, a forgotten slipper, and even a galaxy, a spilled bottle of glitter glue. By the end of the night, Arlo wasn't disappointed anymore. Sure, he hadn't reached outer space, but he had done something no ant had ever dreamed of doing. When the sky began to lighten, Arlo knew it was time to return home. With Luna's help, he reattached the Starlifter's broken wheel and glided down a garden hose slide back to the ground. As he crawled back into Antville, other ants stopped and stared. "Where have you been?" asked one worker. "You smell like human world," said another. And then they saw the rocket, scratched and dented, but still amazing. Arlo stood in front of it proudly. "I flew," he said. "I went to the stars. Well, almost." The queen herself came forward, her antennas twitching. "You risked everything," she said, "to chase a dream. That's brave, and maybe, just maybe, we ants can reach a little higher than we thought." From that day on, Arlo was no longer the weird ant who stared at the sky. He was Captain Arlo, the Ant Astronaut, the tiny pioneer who showed that even the smallest creature could have the biggest dreams. And every night, as the colony rested, Arlo would sit outside the Starlifter, look up at the moon, and whisper, "Someday, I'll make it there for real." And somewhere near the garden lamp, a little moth named Luna would smile and whisper back, I know you will.